It is full support for the Tifosi and the prancing horse for Kimi Antonelli as well. But Anthony Davidson on the front row. Well, are we going to see fireworks going into turn one between the reigning champ and the one currently leading the championship?
Well, the last time, like I showed you on the Skypad earlier on, the last time Max Verstappen versus Oscar Piastri went head-to-head into the first corner, or first couple of corners, it ended in drama, controversy, Max Verstappen taking to the excess road and using that, not giving the position back. It was proper elbows out stuff from Oscar Piastri as well. I can't wait.
Might not get that quite here though, with the gravel waiting for you if you make a mistake, but we've seen all throughout every session actually up until Q3 with a driver having problems finding the wall, getting stuck inside the gravel. There is high drama here with a high probability of a safety car too, and the temperatures, and they've hotted up as well. As Red Bull celebrate 400 Grand Prix, it's Max Verstappen on the front row, it's Oscar Piastri on pole position, it's all eyes to the lights, foot to the floor as we go racing in Imola, and it's a good start from Piastri. Norris as well making gains, the two Ferraris further back, trying to go side by side. George Russell trying to show his nose into turn one, and Verstappen side by side with Piastri through Tamburello, and gets the job done. You've got to be brave round there, and he's done it. Verstappen takes the lead of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Then comes Oscar Piastri, George Russell in third as they all meander their way through. Up-toes are next. And this was the move. Inch perfect from Verstappen, keeping all the wheels on the right side of the line. Verstappen showing why he's a reigning champion. Look at George Russell as well, right under the slipstream of Piastri, who looks like he's got this sewn up until how late on the brakes do you want to go? That, Ant, is surely one of the all-time turn one moves.
You know, the more times I watch it, the more impressed I am. The commitment, the excellence that Max had going into the braking zone. Yes, okay, he was on the racing line by the time he gets to the braking zone, so he knew he would have had a bit more speed. As we were on board with George Russell, he looks to the right, he's boxed in by Verstappen. No gap on the inside, but George is happy to protect P3.
Piastri, what was he doing?
And Russell saying, I'm having to push way too hard here to keep the hard-charging Lando Norris's McLaren behind.
Here he comes once again. McLaren's straight line speed wasn't as good as their rivals yesterday, but at the moment he's looking quicker than the Mercedes ahead. But Russell with the track advantage, but two different lines coming through. Tamburello spat out on the exit. Here we go then. Norris almost on the grass, was on the grass, two wheels on it, trying desperately to find his way through. Norris showing frustration now, and you know what? As these two battle, Fernando Alonso lurks. Here we go then, Hamilton side by side with Kimi Antonelli. If you're an Italian, where do you look? Because you're supporting the boy from Bologna, holding that position in 12th for the time being as they come through the chicane. But Lewis Hamilton on home soil for Ferrari, his first race with them on the Italian flag soil, making his way through. Can't find a way just yet.
Well, Antonelli had the help of DRS as well, as he's stuck behind one of the racing bulls. So Hamilton to at least draw alongside, that gives him hope that if Antonelli finds himself in a vulnerable position, as you see, Leclerc
and Pierre Gasly over the Piratella, and you can't go two cars through there as Pierre Gasly finds out, and you are punished straight away around this Imola track through the gravel, and Gasly loses positions all the way down to 14th, just ahead of Liam Lawson. Charles Leclerc fighting hard with the Frenchman there. Oscar Piastri into the pits. So Max Verstappen stays out. It's a little bit slow on the front right for McLaren, and it's a little bit delayed in getting away as well. Norris stays out and moves himself up into second. 3.6 seconds the stop time for Piastri. That will cost him time. See how hard Hadjar fights this one. Piastri closing to the inside. Hadjar will have the outside, and through goes Piastri. So Hadjar not fighting too hard on that one as Piastri goes through and up into 4th place. Ted.
I mean, he's keeping his race alive, isn't he, Oscar Piastri? But
Hamilton on Antonelli once again. This scrap continues between the two of them. Italian driver versus Italian car. Who do the fans cheer for?
Well, at the scene of the race where Lewis Hamilton left Kimi Antonelli a personal message in his driver room, which is now Antonelli's in that Mercedes motorhome, giving him advice and support. Was that advice about how to defend from him?
And look who's coming up. Look who's coming up on them now. It's Oscar Piastri.
As you were saying, and it's Piastri who's really close into the back of this fight now. He should have the advantage, but with DRS, which Hamilton will get from Antonelli. Piastri will get from Hamilton. It's a train down to Tamburello. Which way does Piastri go? Picks his line side by side with the 7-time champ. Sweeps round the outside. Piastri through on Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton knew that really wasn't his fight. His main focus is trying to get in front of the Mercedes, of who now sits in front of Piastri. So Hamilton was never really going to defend that one too hard. He knows that the McLaren's too quick, on a completely different strategy as well.
And now with DRS, he's trying to make his way up through the field. Next up is George Russell with Kimi Antonelli. It is in that Mercedes, and Piastri gets through, coming through Tamburello again. Now, though, the harder charge, perhaps. Can Isaac Hadjar make that Racing Bulls car as wide as he possibly can on one of the narrowest tracks on the calendar? Isaac Hadjar will try and line this up for Piastri coming out of the final corner. He'll get that dose of DRS. Let's see how hard Hadjar fights this one. Piastri closing to the inside. Hadjar will have the outside, and through goes Piastri. So Hadjar not fighting too hard on that one as Piastri goes through and up into 4th place. Ted.
I mean, he's keeping his race alive, isn't he?
McLaren have seen how you can overtake. Oh, we've got a yellow flag here.
Yellow flag. Lando Norris pitting to try and cover perhaps the other Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. He's come out behind the first Ferrari, Lewis Hamilton. The yellow flag is for Esteban Ocon, who was peeled on to the grass on the exit of Tosa. Stop the car. We have an issue. Could that bring a safety car just as Norris has pitted? Virtual safety car. So this is going to benefit Max Verstappen hugely, but it's not the full safety car. So virtual safety car here called. They'll have to slow down, hit a delta. 18 seconds the time lost still if you're in the safety car period. Bernie Collins, race control.
Verstappen should box at this opportunity. It's perfect for...
So with the VSC ending, green flag running begins. Full throttle, and straight away Charles Leclerc, frustrated with how his race is turning out to be, has got Lance Stroll and the Aston Martin ahead of him, trying to find a way around the outside. Stroll holds on. Yeah, Stroll, one of the only runners that didn't stop under that virtual safety car, so it should be easy pickings for Charles Leclerc. As disappointed as he is with the way it's turned out, he should at least be able to work his way past. Yes, Martin hasn't looked down the inside into Tosa. Not so lucky this time. Stroll had it covered just about. Stroll looking in his bin.
He's closing at a rate around 4 or 5 tenths a lap, so not as strong as you would maybe expect from the Ferrari versus the Williams at this stage. And with the gap we currently have, that's going to take him 14 or 15.
Antonelli's off, sorry Bernie. Antonelli going slow, and Antonelli, let's hear from him.
I got an issue. Okay, copy.
An issue for Kimi Antonelli. What's this going to do? The last time a driver pulled up on the side of the grass, it was Esteban Ocon, and we got a virtual safety car. What's that going to do? Antonelli coming to a slow on the exit of the Tosa hairpin. Yellow flag out in that sector. Ferrari ready themselves in the pit lane. If a safety car or VSC is thrown, you get a cheap pit stop. 18 seconds compared to around about 28 seconds under green flag, and it's safety car. It's full safety car deployed by race control. Kimi Antonelli is out of this race. The boy from Bologna on home soil showed his school class around here on Thursday. The omens have not been strong enough for Antonelli, but what is that going to do to this race? Let's just see and hear what happened to Antonelli, coming with his foot to the floor, and we are back racing in Imola as we continue round. Green flag running. It's a sprint to the finish. Verstappen leads Oscar Piastri. Lando Norris over the line. Can Norris close up enough to try something into Tamburello? Charles Leclerc might fancy his chances. To the inside, has a think about it, bails out of it, not close enough as they all make their way single file through Tamburello. Good restart from Max Verstappen.
I was busy watching the pressure that Lando Norris was putting on Oscar Piastri, but then in his mirror suddenly you've got the hard charging Ferrari That straight line speed is something else to there, and that was without DRS, of course.
Yeah, DRS will be activated the next lap around, but Verstappen, with the restart that he needed, already putting a second over Oscar Piastri. Meanwhile, it was a good start for Charles Leclerc, but now he's got to look at Alex Albon, who is feeling bold under the heat in Italy this afternoon, looking for back-to-back top 5 finishes. Is the Thai driver tucked up right behind Charles Leclerc. The other Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton coming through the screen now, watching George Russell's Mercedes with great intrigue over the top chicane.
And here comes Hamilton.
Through on Russell already as they get into the braking zone. Is there a Mercedes to his left? No, there isn't. Hamilton lining that one up and picking off his old teammate to get inside the top 6. Russell will now have sight all over the back of him and Isaac Hadjar, who were involved in a nice dice. Then Yuki Tsunoda actually not too far down the road either. That's the top 10. They are your point scorers. Lando Norris, when we just saw him a moment ago, I think this is the closest he has been so far since we restarted this race. Less than half a second splitting the two teammates. One who has performed so well this season, the other who has had peaks and troughs. Can Lando Norris find anything down the DRS with that 0.4 of a second advantage it gives you, plus the fresher rubber?
Closest he's been.
Here we go. Piastri will hug that inside line coming into Tamburello. Norris to the outside. Teammates into turn 1. They manage it neat and tidy. Lovely move from Lando Norris. Piastri gave him the room. Piastri though with a good exit, but Lando Norris holding firm and gets himself up into second. So the McLaren boys playing fair and racing hard.
Excellent driving from both of them, actually. And I have to applaud McLaren as well. Zach Brown there on the pit wall, letting them race.
Rest 2, Will Hamilton, the rear wing slot opens, Leclerc under pressure, he doesn't get DRS. Here comes Alex Albon. What does Leclerc do? Moves to the inside, once again forcing the car to the outside, but late on the brakes. Is there going to be contact? Oh, so close. Albon has to bail out over the gravel, rally style, keeps it together, rejoins on the track, but loses out to the second Ferrari as Hamilton goes through. Albon in the blink of an eye, staring at 4th, now in 6th.
Albon had to do it. He had to do it. It was now or never for him, because he could see Lewis Hamilton catching up behind on the better tyres as well. So Lewis was always going to be on the attack there, saw the opportunity. This is what usually happens when a driver tries to go around the outside of Tamburello. Now, is there contact?
There would have been, though, if he hadn't have bailed out.
That wasn't fair.
I want to see how much of his car was actually alongside before turning. It's a difficult one to see there. Pretty much side by side, wasn't it? Should he be given the room?
I'll tell you what,
personally,
did a good job of avoiding him coming back on.
The rule book says you have to have more of your car further ahead if you're the overtaker on the outside. I feel like Leclerc just about had the authority of the corner. No.
Well, but for Max Verstappen, who sees the checkered flag in sight, what a race for the Dutchman, who makes it 4 wins in a row in Imola. Lando Norris crosses the line in second, chasing down his rival, but in the end 6 seconds adrift. And Oscar Piastri, having started on pole, the race not going his way, having to work hard at it, manages to come home with a podium and extends his championship lead. Lewis Hamilton with a brilliant result up inside the top 4, having qualified outside. Albon, top 5 finish, back-to-back races. Charles Leclerc has to settle for 6th in what will be a disappointing day for the Monegasque. But for Red Bull, Anthony, on the anniversary of 400 races, a superb drive from the reigning champ.
It really was, and it was won in the first corner, well, the second corner technically at that Tamburello chicane. Amazing on the brakes. We didn't think... Here we go for the radio.
Grande, Max. Nice job, mate. Nice job.
Wow, Max, 400 races and you've won it. Brilliant, brilliant drive, brilliant weekend. Well done, mate. You really, really dominated that race.
Yeah, exactly that. Brilliant weekend. That was a fantastic execution all around. Thank you very much. And yeah, not bad on our 400 race. Well done, everyone. That was a very strong Saturday and Sunday, so well deserved that. Great job.